Hello，大家好。我叫 Javis 啦，我係 Maple Overseas Education 嘅首席顧問。咁今日咧，我哋好榮幸咧就有呢個 Facebook Live 嘅 opportunity 啦。咁我哋咧會邀請咗咧 Wilfrid Laurier International College 嘅recruitment manager 啦 Michelle 啦，同埋一個咧係 Wilfrid Laurier University 讀緊書嘅學生叫 Edwin 嘅。咁我哋呢一個 presentation 咧就分兩 part 嘅。咁第一 part 咧就係Michelle 啦，佢會解釋下 Wilfrid Laurier University 呢個 International College 嘅 Pathway Program。咁其實咧 Pathway Program 我哋講緊咧，可能係Foundation 啊、International Year One 啊呢啲課程咧，其實咧可能喺英國或者係澳洲咧會比較係popular 啲，同埋大學會經常有嘅課程。咁但係咧加拿大咧就會少啲大學會有呢啲類似嘅課程啦。咁我哋最常見嘅 let's say 係 University of Toronto 或者係 University of British Columbia 呢啲嘅大學咧，本身都冇一個pathway 嘅課程咧，專係 for international student 嘅。咁喺呢幾年啦，咁有一啲大學咧就開始 run 呢啲 pathway 啦，因為佢哋都知道咧國際學生咧都可能 looking for 唔同類型嘅 entry 去入大學，咁呢啲 pathway 咧都係一個好嘅 stepping stone 俾學生咧升翻上 year two 嘅，係啦。咁呢一啲 pathway 咧亦都係叫做咧 on campus 嘅 pathway， 代表咗咧學生咧會喺翻個 university 裏邊上啦，用翻 university 嘅 facility， 係啦。咁咧今日咧我哋介紹呢一間咧就叫做 Wilfrid Laurier University。咁 Wilfrid Laurier University 有少少 background 啦，咁佢就位置於 Waterloo 嘅。咁當然如果你一聽到 Waterloo， 咁你當然會諗起滑鐵盧大學啦 ，University of Waterloo 啦。咁但係咧 Waterloo 裏邊咧亦都有一間好 prestigious 嘅 university 叫做 Wilfrid Laurier University 嘅。咁佢個 scale 咧個 size 咧會比 Waterloo細啲，咁但係咧其實佢哋咧一啲都唔差嘅嗰個 research 啊。或者係嗰個 teaching quality 啊。嗱，咁我哋而家咧，我就 hand 個 host 咧俾我嘅Wilfrid Laurier 嘅recruitment manager Michelle，咁佢就會做一個簡單嘅 introduction of Wilfrid Laurier University International College 啦。跟住咧，我哋會pass 俾 Edwin， 咁 Edwin 咧亦都係而家喺 Wilfrid Laurier 讀緊嘅學生，咁佢都會分享少少佢喺 Wilfrid Laurier 讀書嘅心路歷程啦等等。佢亦都有 YouTube channel， 咁 Evan 都可以 share 翻你 YouTube channel 俾我哋嘅聽眾嘅。好 ，over to you, Michelle。
Okay, thank you。好，咁我 share 個 screen 先啊。OK，Hello， 大家好，我個名叫 Michelle。咁咧，其實我自己本身都係香港人嚟嘅。咁10年前咧，我就做咗個決定，就係想過嚟呢邊讀大學啦。咁讀完中學就想過去加拿大。咁當然啦，加拿大本身佢嘅安全程度好高啦。咁所以就同媽咪決定咗啦，商量好，咁我就想過嚟加拿大。咁然之後咧，我哋就想睇下究竟想去邊一間大學好啊？咁好多時傳統就係話一定係嗰啲傳統大學比較好嘅，但係我覺得後尾未必會係嘅，因為之後幾年咧，大概個 trend 我都見到就係靠經驗，而唔係邊間大學，因為好多人都有可能大學係好基本啦，但係最尾出嚟可能睇下你經驗有幾多啊，即係實際有冇工作經驗啊之類，去令你提高你就業嘅機會嘅。咁今日我想介紹呢間學校咧，就係 Wilfrid Laurier International College 啦。咁 Wilfrid Laurier 咧，其實佢係一個人名嚟嘅，係加拿大第5名嘅 Prime Minister。咁佢個名叫 Wilfrid Laurier。咁其實佢個樣咧喺加拿大咧，喺個5蚊紙嗰度咧，佢都有佢個樣喺上面嘅。佢就係 Wilfrid Laurier啦。咁呢間大學為name after him 啦，為佢而起呢個名啦。咁然之後佢其實咧都過超過100年歷史㗎啦，絕對唔係新學校嚟嘅。但係你話係咪好傳統嘅學校咧？咁佢又唔係喎，因為佢有好多唔同嘅活動啊，即係仍然係走在好最前線嘅。咁我陣間話俾你聽點解佢有呢啲咁樣嘅口碑啊咁樣。咁啊頭先Javis 講咗啦，咁佢嘅 main campus 係喺 Waterloo 嗰度啦，就喺呢個紫色呢個點呢度嘅。 咁啊喺 Ontario 嗰邊咧，其實我哋就係東面嗰邊啦。咁啊好近，好多人喺東面就諗起第一樣嘢一定係多倫多先㗎啦。因為好多人都想去多倫多啊咁樣，但係咧你要知道多倫多其實係非常非常之貴嘅，所以好似其實我讀書咧，我喺溫哥華嗰度讀書嘅，咁但係我會發覺有一樣嘢就係有少少後悔，就係如果你想使錢咧，就最好就唔好使喺啲大城市住先嘅。如果你可以使喺一啲咧比較細少少嘅學校，但係你賺錢咧，你喺啲大城市賺錢咧，咁樣會比較好啲嘅。咁啊，所以咧，我今日想介紹呢個咧就係非常之近多倫多。咁其實咧，Wilfrid Laurier 呢間學校咧，佢仲有另一個校區嘅，就係 Brantford。咁呢一個 International College 就喺呢個 Brantford 城市入面。咁其實佢有幾遠咧？唔遠嘅，就係 Brantford 去 Waterloo 咧50分鐘開車嘅啫。你去多倫多咧一個鐘就到噶啦。咁其實我上個禮拜先至搭火車由 Brantford 去多倫多，即係可能 weekend 去玩下咁樣，都好快，1個鐘頭零10分鐘左右咁就到㗎啦。佢仲要係到喺多倫多嘅 Union Station， 即係最 main downtown 嗰度，所以唔需要擔心話好難會去到啊咁樣。咁好多時我哋學生都係咁樣兩邊去。咁如果家長睇落去咧，就係好多時家長就會覺得如果多倫多又怕貴啦，又怕學生唔專心讀書啦，好多嘢玩啊嘛。咁呢個 Brantford location 咧就最好噶啦，1至5你可以好專心讀書啦。同時咧，啲仔仔女女就覺得，我驚悶喎，咁星期六你咪可以去多倫多玩咯。搭火車價錢幾多咧？大概27蚊左右加字，咁都唔算好貴嘅。咁呢個就係火車票嘅價錢，每一日咧都有大概3至4班火車來回嘅。好，咁呢間學校咧有啲咩好咧？就係佢咧就係 comprehensive 頭10位嘅大學嚟嘅，咁然之後做綜合大學頭10位啦。然後咧佢仲有一個非常之好嘅排名，就係 student satisfaction 加拿大首5位。唔好覺得學生嘅滿意程度係好主觀性喎，雖然係，但係如果你話想要呢一個排名嘅話咧，你必須要做好3樣嘢先得嘅。第一樣，究竟喺度讀書有幾開心啦。第二咧就係佢哋嘅 extracurricular 喺 Wilfrid Laurier 呢間大學入面咧，佢單係淨係 student club 即係社團呢啲咧，佢已經有超過250個。咁一定有起碼至少1-2個你覺得有興趣㗎啦。咁如果就算你覺得冇興趣嘅，你都可以自己建立自己嘅社團嘅喺入面。咁然之後第3，如果你想要呢個 ranking 嘅話咧，你係必須要用非常之高嘅 teaching quality。呢間學校所有老師咧，但係好多都係非常之supportive 啊，即係好似我哋今日請呢個 Edwin 嘅學生咁樣啦。上次我哋喺第2度做一個IG live 嘅，咁做 IG live 嘅途中咧，佢冇同佢老師講喎，但係佢老師somehow就揾到佢呢條 link，咁然之後入嚟咧就話好好啊，個學生我好中意啊咁樣。咁你都見到呢啲係即係佢對於我呢間學校啲老師對佢學生咧非常之 support 啊，亦都好開心見到佢哋嘅成功啊，或者佢哋有啲咩里程碑達到嘅時候咧，佢哋都會喺嗰度支持佢哋嘅。咁另外一個咧，呢間學校最勁，我最想 highlight 咧就係佢嘅就業率，因為咧其實好多人覺得係咪一定傳統學校一定會請到啲其他學校就唔會請啊？絕對唔係嘅。呢間學校咧94.5% 嘅 international graduate， 嗱個 keyword 係 international， 即係咧呢一個 statistic 咧係唔計本地學生嘅，只係國際學生啫。國際學生喺呢間大學讀嘅話，畢咗業 within 6 months 6個月之內咧都可以either 拎到 full time job 啦，又或者係佢哋去讀master 啊或者 PhD 咁樣嘅。咁你就會問啦，Michelle 點解可以94.5咁高啊？咁好多學校咧，其實喺加拿大好興咧，就係講 co-op 嘅。co-op 咧就係帶薪嘅實習，咁即係你會停幾個月唔讀書啦，然之後做全職。咁呢份工作咧都會同你嘅主修 major 係有關係嘅。咁點解 co-op 咁好咧？其實好多公司咧透過 co-op 咧就係請佢哋將來嘅 full time job，因為而家佢好難請嘅咧就係一啲比較有耐性啊，或者有一啲好啱公司 culture 嘅一啲後生仔啦，比較難請啲，佢覺得可能會冇恒心啊咁樣。咁但係透過 co-op 咧，啲學生通常你要做起碼3-4個月全職9至5對住你喎每日。咁通常啲老細啊覺得好中意你嘅時候咧，咁佢就會話你畢咗業不如過嚟繼續做啦，我有份工俾你啦咁樣。咁所以好多學生透過 co-op 咧，其實都可以好快揾到一份 full time 嘅 job 嘅。咁但係 喺加拿大咧，其實唔係淨止我哋間學校會有 co-op 嘅，好多間學校都會有 co-op 呢個 opportunity。咁但係除咗 co-op 之外咧，我最中意呢間學校咧就係佢有比 co-op 更加多嘅嘢，就係佢有個 career centre 啦。咁呢個 Laurier Career Centre 咧，佢會每年都會舉辦一個 job fair，即係招聘會嘅。咁呢個招聘會咧係大學模式嚟講咧，全加拿大最大型㗎啦。咁 Laurier 其實每年咧只會辦一次嘅啫。咁佢就會聯同2至3間其他喺 Ontario 嘅大學咧，咁佢每年就會辦一次嘅 job fair。咁呢個 job fair 咧係只限於開放俾佢自己嘅學生或者係佢嘅畢業生。係啊，佢畢業生就算你畢咗業10年咧，你都可以去免費去呢啲 job fair 嘅。咁呢啲就係 Laurier 對於佢哋自己學生提供嘅服務。咁呢個大型嘅招聘會點解咁好咁多人想去咧？因為佢有最大型啦，第一，因為究竟有幾大咧？大概每年都有150至200間公司喺嗰度嘅。咁你家長都可以好放心喎。呢150至200間咧，記住學校已經係睇過晒佢哋 profile， 佢哋認識呢間公司先至放入去呢個 list 入面。咁所以唔需要擔心，可能話學生自己出去揾，可能有啲騙案啊，或者有啲公司唔係幾好啊，咁樣唔需要擔心咯。咁你去呢啲 job fair， 你可以 part time 都有好啊，full time job 或者 summer job 或者係 co-op job， 唔同類型嘅 job 咧都會有請人嘅。咁當日咧，你只需要咧著得靚靚仔仔啊，整整齊齊咁樣。咁然之後咧，你就帶你嘅 resume 啦、cover letter 啦，你可以同其他同學仔一齊去，即係好似去書展咁樣咯，一齊去展覽會。咁去到嗰度咧，你就可以去問下同啲公司傾下偈啦，又或者係好多時候有機會做職場嘅面試添嘅。咁呢個咧就係Wilfrid Laurier獨有嘅一樣嘢，而其他大學咧係未必可以 offer 到俾你嘅，令到佢哋嘅學生可以好高嘅就業率啦。咁呢個就係我覺得最想 highlight， 令到你覺得呢間學校其實佢對學生嘅就業嘅機會咧係非常之睇重嘅。好，咁當你而家好似聽落去，呢間學校都唔錯喎。雖然係2線城市，但係又好近多倫多。咁你做 co-op 嗰啲啊，都可以去多倫多度做啊。咁你但係生活費又可以2線城市咁嘅生活費，咁聽落都唔錯喎，你個選擇。咁點樣入去啦？咁入去咧，其實有2種方法嘅。傳統咁當然係直入大學啦。咁但係呢個直入大學咧，其實好多國際學生咧都有一啲另外嘅想法，就反而想行 international pathway。點解咁樣講咧？第一，雖然第1年直入大學聽落去好似好勁喎，勁啲，好似正常啲咁樣喎，但其實唔係嘅喎。好多學生能夠達到直入大學嘅要求咧，都會選擇去 international pathway， 因為學費基本上一樣啦，但係你嘅班嘅人數咧係細好多嘅。international pathway 咧通常都係至少細過直入大學係至少3至4倍嘅。咁所以你話正常入大學第1年啦，你見到depends on 科目啦，有啲係100幾人，有啲300幾人，甚至800幾人都會有嘅。咁但係如果 international pathway 大概都係10至40個，即係不等咁樣。但係啲老師你要記住喎，老師都係大學過嚟嘅喎，所以 teaching quality 係非常之有保證嘅。咁然之後老師亦都會對你應該冇咁 harsh 嘅，因為佢都知道咧呢一班嘅同學仔都係啱啱到加拿大啦，所以就唔會話好 expect 佢哋你已經喺度讀過書㗎啦，所以一定要知道晒我哋呢度中學生係學過啲乜嘢嘅，咁佢就唔會有咁嘅要求。咁變相學生咧，當佢哋喺呢度咧，就可以同時到大學，又可以將佢哋個底打好咯。咁去到第2年就唔需要擔心同啲本地生鬥唔過咯喎，因為你已經喺第1年喺個 international pathway 已經打好咗㗎啦嘛，而成功率咧都會高好多嘅。咁變相好多人咧，其實都會選擇考慮 international pathway 呢個渠道去進入大學。咁當然啦，以香港人嚟講，最唔想就係嘥時間同埋嘥錢㗎嘛。咁呢個我都好明白。咁當時我同媽咪講嘅時候就係話，呢個有呢個 pathway 喎。咁到時佢第一樣問我就係話，係咪讀 foundation 啊咁樣？咁我哋雖然都會有 foundation 嘅，但係如果你讀完 DSE 嘅話咧，其實你係可以直入大學嘅 international year 1，即係國際嘅大學1年班嘅課程啦。然之後你係 expect 讀完之後咧，你係轉去第2年嘅，你唔係轉去大學嘅第1年。咁變相咧，你其實 instead of 做1、2、3、4傳統啦，你只不過第1年喺個 international pathway 1、2、3、4都係一樣4年。咁我都 prove 到俾我媽咪睇啦，其實係呢個係 work 嘅，我都係4年完成咗我嘅課程，就係1+3咁樣嘅。咁你話 UTP1 適合邊一類型嘅學生咧？ 中五嘅學生啦。咁如果你係讀緊 Form 5咧，而你唔想考 DSE， 想快啲過嚟咧，你可以選擇我哋呢個 Foundation 嘅。呢個 Foundation 幾耐咧？4至8個月不等。點解我話4至8個月不等？正常其實係8個月嘅，但係如果你成績好嘅話咧，你係有機會短期內4個月就讀完㗎啦。點樣叫成績好咧？我哋第一個學期咧，通常你會讀4科，咁呢4科入面咧，你只要係每一科都達到70% 或以上咧，咁就可以 skip 其他4個月，然之後接上大學1年8，咁變相咧好多中五學生都會考慮，因為快過 DSE 好多啊嘛。咁啊 depends on 你自己嘅 budget 啦，又或者自己嘅去向想點樣啦，咁然之後想揀個你自己適合嘅科。今日咧其實主要咧呢間學校其實好多 program 嘅，咁今日咧我就想 highlight 一個將來有機會比 computing science 仲更加大需求嘅一個行業，就係 user experience design。咁啊，與其咁樣用戶體驗設計係點樣嘅咧，我只要俾一個 video 你睇，大概15秒左右咧，你就知道講啲咩㗎啦。我哋讀電腦一定好好揾嘅，咁啊好多人就走咗去讀 computing science 啦。咁 computing science 咧，大部分都係編寫程式嘅人啦。咁但係你知道喎，好似你哋嗌外賣 food planner 咁樣啦，嗰啲顏色點樣揀啊，啲掣點樣撳啊，呢啲各類型嘅咧都係需要 user experience designer 去做嘅。咁呢個只係佢哋其中一個 user experience design 想做嘅嘢啦。咁你都知道將來一定好多 app 會出嚟啦。而且呢一個工作咧係唔容易俾電腦去取代嘅，只不過你仍然都需要你嘅 design 頭腦啦，你可以設計啲 template 俾人哋咁樣去用啦。但係at the end of the day 咧，你都係仍然可以做一個非常之充滿創意啊，亦都不斷會有人需求你需要你去間公司做嘢嘅人嚟嘅。咁所以唔需要太擔心。咁呢個咧行業可以賺到幾多咧？其實我自己有2個朋友係做緊嘅，有一個人咧就係佢係先讀大學就係直接呢一個 bachelor degree 嘅，另一個咧就係先讀其他，即係好似 graphic design 咁樣，然之後咧再去讀一個 diploma。點解咁樣咧？其實喺加拿大咧有呢一個專業咧嘅大學唔多，大概咧我估少過10個左右，真係少過10間大學，有好多學校會提供呢一個成為 certificate 啦，又或者係 diploma， 但係冇好多大學提供呢一個作為一個 bachelor degree 嘅。咁但係呢2個朋友咧都好多，一個咧讀咗 diploma 先，然之後再出嚟咧賺大概72000左右。咁另外一個咧真係用讀大學嘅咧 user experience design 咧，佢起薪年大概74000左右嘅。咁但係佢做咗一年左右咧，佢已經同我講話而家賺緊86000啦。咁所以你可以知道咧，其實呢個行業咧真係賺嘅錢可以好多嘅。86000究竟多定少咧？個家子喺加拿大嘅話咧，我當溫哥華呢啲大城市咁樣啦。咁如果你話想做一個front desk 或者普通一個文員嘅，咁啊起薪點咧，大概其實40000至45000左右嘅。咁你可想而知，其實加拿大如果你賺到7萬啊至8萬咧，係一定已經係 above average 㗎啦。咁你諗下喎，20幾歲人如果讀呢一個起薪點已經7萬幾8萬咧，將來咧其實好容易過10萬都冇問題嘅。好，咁大概其實第1年啊、第2年會學啲乜嘢咧？咁陣間 Ed 會 show 啲 work 俾佢睇啦，咁啊 share 俾你睇。佢而家係讀緊最後1年啊嘛，咁可以話俾你聽佢頭幾年大概學啲乜嘢咁樣。咁啊喺我哋 Wilfrid Laurier International Pathway 嗰度咧，咁你就可以讀 strategy 啊、3D design 啊、graphic design 啊，呢啲都會碰到嘅。咁最緊要咧，好多人就會問啦，聽落去 design， 但係係咪要 portfolio 㗎？入大學有機會嘅，好多大學有機會會 ask for。但係如果你想入一個 international pathway 咧，可以放心，因為顧名思義，我哋 for international student， 我哋唔 expect 你有底嘅。咁所以咧，你入嚟我哋呢間 WLIC 嘅話咧，你係唔需要 portfolio 嘅。 OK， 我哋只係睇你 HKDSE， 亦都冇話咩一定要讀 art 啊嗰啲先可以入嚟嘅，所以絕對可以放心嘅。好，咁呢個亦都係其中一個 co-op 嘅 poster 啦，即係如果你想參加 co-op 嘅話，你可以睇呢啲 title 咧，絕對同出面你揾一啲工嘅話咧係非常之 comparable 嘅，就唔會話咩 junior 咁樣，全部都 UX designer、UX web designer， 咁呢啲 title 咧都可以擺你 resume， 第時為你揾工啊，其他咧都非常之有幫助嘅。好啦，咁啊少少 before 我 pass it on Edwin 嘅時候咧，我可以話俾你聽呢邊住嘅方面啦，唔需要太擔心嘅。呢度咧好嘅地方就係，雖然因為二線城市好多人覺得會唔會好難，唔知安唔安全啊嗰啲。嗱，我哋呢度第一年咧，講我去過啦，我俾你安全嘅個城市，同埋咧，但係咧同時呢間大學咧係可以 guarantee on residence 嘅。嗱，呢個非常重要喎，因為好多大學喺加拿大咧，其實好多都係 first come first serve， 而特別疫情方面，其實好多人都覺得，我唔知要唔要報 resident 先喎，咁我驚俾咗錢又退唔到喎，唔需要擔心嘅。你只要，例如你話，呢間學校我揀定嘅啦，咁但係我唔知幾時先可以過嚟住宿舍喎，咁只要你同我哋講話你想住宿舍咧，我哋可以幫你留個位嘅。留到個位，例如到你第一日開學嘅時候，覺得我簽證應該到唔到啦，不如放棄咗佢啦，係冇錢需要俾嘅，我哋亦都唔會話罰錢之類嘅。你只同我講話簽證唔得啊，咁可唔可以推落下個學期啊？咁啊，絕對冇問題。而我哋 in person class 咧已經有噶啦，咁啊到9月份嘅時候點樣安排咧？你可以揀一個 hybrid 嘅。hybrid 咩意思咧？我當你一路上住 online 先嘅，上到中途 online 嘅時候，如果你個簽證到咗啦，你想飛過嚟，直接即刻轉 in person 係冇問題嘅。OK， 咁啊你要記住，其實有啲好多學校喺加拿大咧，你揀 online 嘅時候咧，就算你飛到過嚟咧，你都需要維持 online 嘅。好多學校都係咁樣，但係我哋而家咧就有啲好好嘅設備啦，令到即係一個課室咧我有特別嘅課室嘅，專係俾呢啲 online course， 即係 hybrid 呢啲，就係連我哋即係天花板裝咗好多 microphone 啦，咁所以就算有時好多 online class 唔好嘅地方就係你聽到老師講嘢，但係到同學講嘢嘅時候咧，你哋聽到咦咁樣，唔知佢講乜嘢嘅，所以唔需要擔心嘅。我哋呢啲教學呢啲 classroom 咧，佢係可以收音收得好好，而之後，例如你啲同學仔講嘢問老師問題咧，你都聽得好清楚嘅。咁所以我哋有好多唔同設備可以幫助你，令到你 smoothly 嚟到加拿大啦。好，咁呢啲咧可能之後就可以再 focus 去再傾多啲。咁而家咧，我就將個時間咧 pass 俾我哋嘅學生啦 ，Edwin 啦，咁佢咧就會用英文同我哋分享少啲關於佢自己大學啊，或者特別呢個專業，佢哋學到啲乜嘢啊，同埋佢對呢間學嘅感想嘅。Okay，Edwin, pass it to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Michelle, and thank you so much, Javis, for having me. 我嘅中文係真係唔係咁好，就會用英文。But yeah, Wilfrid Laurier University has been an amazing experience. I've been studying user experience design for the past 4 years, and I think the biggest takeaway that I can give is that when we start studying in our first year, we are already working with real people, real businesses. So for example, in my first year, I was working with the university. There was a building that was brand new and the school didn't know what to do with it. So they reached out to me and a bunch of my other classmates and they asked us, what do you think this building should be used for? And that was interesting to me because user experience design is more than just using a website or using an app. It can even be designing a physical space, designing a physical building, designing a service. So yeah, in my first year, I was able to go into that building. I was like one of the few people who was allowed inside that building because it was so new. And they were allowing us to like take notes on everything, take pictures. And from there, we were able to come up with different solutions. We asked students, oh, what do you want to see? And eventually we came up with a design. And to this day, right now, if you go inside that building, some of our designs are actually there. So it's really cool because what we are learning is actually being used in the real world. So yeah, that's just one example of one of the classes that I took in my first year. But I can talk a little bit more about some different classes. So we talked about graphic design earlier, and in that class, we actually learned about how to like design with colors, with like different shapes and all of that. But most importantly, we use it in the context of like designing websites or apps. So I'm just going to share my screen and I can show you an example of something that I designed in my graphic design course. So you can see right here, it's like an iPhone, and my group and I, we designed an app called Dog Dojo. So if you click it right here, we have like a sign up page and we can like go through it. You can put your email and you can sign in. And all of this we designed from scratch. And most importantly, we designed with research. So we reached out to like our friends who own dogs and like, hey, what are some things that you want to know or like want a feature for your app on dogs? And a lot of them are saying, oh, I want to be able to like book an appointment with the vet. So we included that feature. Book an appointment. What kind of appointment? Is it medical? Is it for grooming to make your dog look nice? So we can click that and we can click continue and you can like schedule it. So all of this was all designed by my group and I, and yeah, it's pretty much all functional. And just like that, we can book an appointment for our dog. And now I want to show another example of a different project in a different course called Maker Lab. So as I mentioned earlier, user experience design isn't only just like the app and the website. We also like to look at different experiences. So like if you go to like a restaurant in person and you trying to look at the menu, but the words are so small, you can't even read. It's like, what? I don't know what to order, right? That's like a problem. And these are things that even like UX designers can work on. So in this class, we looked at different problems that are like physical. So for example, if it's a camera, what if someone is using a camera, but they have like very jittery hands and they can't press the buttons? What can we do there? And I like had a suggestion. Oh, looking at Samsung, so yeah, in that example, I was just able to like apply that idea. Oh, what if you just raise your hand and then you can take a picture with your camera? So like that's a solution to a problem that some people might face. And now here's another design that I was working on. It's an app called Clubhouse. I'm not sure if you know. It's kind of like Zoom, but only audio. You can only talk. You can't see the people, right? And like there's a problem with that because a lot of the times when you're talking with someone, being able to see them and like see their face, you can tell their emotions, right? But just being able to hear is not always the best thing, right? So like how might we be able to like improve that? So like for example, you can see right here, I decided to implement closed captioning. So putting like words that are automatically appearing to see like what the speaker is saying. That would just help people that have like problems with hearing and for people who are like not engaged just by audio. And lastly, here's one last example. I'm sure a lot of us as like university students, it's our first time learning how to cook food and it might be challenging for us. So we have a recipe on our phone, right? And while you're cooking, you're like, 炒緊啲嘢 or like 咩你洗手你啲手係濕嘛 right? And 係好難嚟用你嘅電話. So like, oh, how do you change to like the next page or something, right? What if we're just able to like swipe over and you're able to like move to the next step? So like this is another design idea that I proposed to one of my classmates, and yeah, I worked on this project, and yeah, those are just some of my examples of some of the schoolwork that I've been doing. And yeah, I can also talk a little bit about like my work experience as well. So as we mentioned earlier, Laurier has the co-op program. So I have a lot of experience working with real companies. So I already explained like working with Laurier in my first year, and in my second year, I was working with a startup company. It was working on a web application, so like a website, and I'm actually not allowed to show that much of it because I signed like those NDA forms. But yeah, it was also another great opportunity to actually like work with clients and talk about like the business side of things too. That's the cool thing about the program. It's like I just want to keep mentioning it. It's not only just designing on the computer. We have to learn about like real like communication, how to talk with like a business partner, how to keep them in touch and like make sure that they're on the same page as you. And right now, as my fourth year, I'm currently working as a research assistant. So I'm working with one of my professors, and we're developing a study on figuring out like how might we like improve people's like video experience, because you know, for like a lot of us right now, watching videos is like a lot of our favorite pastime, watching like Netflix or something, right? Watching TV shows. And so yeah, I've been doing research on that for the past year now, and it's been a really amazing opportunity just be able to like actually do real work. Like the things that I'm learning are actually applicable in like the real world, in real jobs. So yeah, that's just a little breakdown of some of the things that I've been working on. But are there any specific questions from either Michelle or Travis that you want to ask me?
Yeah, I'm very curious, like how do you get all the information like booking grooming for dogs, the app that you did? Did you get all the contact nearby, or like is it just for Ontario, like by cities?
Right. Yeah. So I guess just with that example of like that app,
Mhm.
we mostly did that locally. So we just did that like in Brantford, actually. We were just like looking at nearby services, and we actually like reached out to them. We are like, hey, how often do like people actually like call in to make an appointment, or how often do they walk in? So we were able to use that kind of research and that data to prove that like, oh, most people aren't like walking in to book an appointment. They either call or use their phone, right? So yeah, that's what we were able to do
And I
with the
feel
app.
like user experience design 聽落去好似同創業好有關係。Because when you learn about 創業喺大學 it's like always like find a pain point。嗱，而家市面上有啲咩冇嘅，又或者好多人覺得唔方便嘅，然之後你就幫佢哋，就係透過 user experience design either be an app or like a physical space as you mentioned。So 學校有冇例如 like one of your recipe 你話即係用隻手揮一揮個電話就可以去下一頁，咁唔使用濕嘅手佢自己去慢慢碌啊嘛。咁呢一個 let's say this is a really good idea。咁學校會唔會有啲機會俾你 make it like actually happen?
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a really great point. At Laurier Brantford, we have a center that's like literally right beside the UX building, and it's called Launchpad. So basically, if you have an idea that you think, like this could actually work, and you can like have like a bunch of your classmates and yourself come together and propose this idea to Launchpad. And if they are okay with the idea and they think that your idea is possible, you're able to receive funding. So you're able to receive money to actually work on this project, and you're able to like reach out to like different business partners and then like present it to them. And if they're interested, they can like help research as well. So yeah, it can actually happen in the real world.
聽落幾好喎，因為即係如果你嘅 idea 好，學校原來係其實會俾埋錢，俾埋 office space 你去真係同 make 呢個 business happen。唔錯唔錯。Javis 咧 ，Javis 有冇嘢想問啊
？Kevin I want to ask you something about life at Wilfrid Laurier as well. Understand you're studying a very interesting program. However, what a life like at Wilfrid Laurier University? What do you do during your free time? Where do you hang out? Did you join any extracurricular activities at the university? Any society?
Yeah, for sure. So there's so many different clubs at Wilfrid Laurier University. It's kind of like crazy to like choose, but yeah, I'm involved in a bunch of clubs, and for myself, I'm really interested in sports. So I'll be on like the extramural basketball. I'll be playing basketball. There's also the YMCA, and I think if you look in Michelle's background, that's the YMCA, which is super, super nice. It's like so brand new. There's a gym, there's like a swimming pool. This like I go there like almost every single day. And yeah, that's like probably the one place that I go all the time. But on top of that, there's like different clubs that I'm a part of. So if you're interested in like music, there's like choir, so there's like singing groups, there's like drama, there's also different language clubs. So if you want to learn like a different language, or you want to just be around people who are speaking the same language, there's probably a club for you. Yeah, and in my first year, I was actually a part of a program called the First Year Leadership Program. And that is a great opportunity. And anyone who is thinking about coming to Laurier, I would highly suggest that, because you're able to take on a leadership role. You're able to like organize like different kinds of events for all the students. So I was able to organize like paint nights. We're able to organize like a coffee night and like different kind of events. And it was just like such a great opportunity. So yeah, definitely a lot of things to keep you busy.
And Evan, if you don't mind me asking, do you have a chance to live on university accommodation, or you're currently living outside, or you're going to share about the university accommodation?
Yeah. So right now I'm actually living off campus, but in my first year I lived in residence, and I think we showed briefly the residences are apartment style. So that just means you have your own kitchen and you actually have your own washroom, which is a really good plus. So you don't have to share the washroom with so many people. But yeah, the apartments are really great. They have like everything you need basically. They have all the appliances already there for you. So like your stove, your fridge, all the cabinetry is all there. Yeah, it's really good to live on residence because you're so close to so many of your peers, so close to so many of your classmates. I was able to make a lot of friends just by like walking down the hall, and you see a bunch of different people. And you're just like, hey, you want to hang out? And yeah, it's really great. All the apartments have laundry machines as well. So if you need to wash your clothes, you can just do that, and you don't have to pay for it. So yeah, it's included in your residence fees. I guess talking a little bit about off campus as well. There's a lot of like different housing opportunities for students. So there's like student housing like in apartments, and there's housing in like townhouses, and that's currently where I was living in my third year. So yeah, it's like there's housing opportunities all over campus, and it's not too far. Like there's also like buses. So if you're really worried about it, at most it's like a 10 to 15 minute commute to campus. Yeah.
And my final question, I understand now you're the fourth year student at user experience and design, right? And your major is user experience design, but did you have a chance to study any elective subjects that you feel interest, such as history, economics, or even music, that you would like to give our audience?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different electives that you can take starting from your first year. I took courses in psychology, and I was really interested in psychology. So I took like probably 4 courses in psychology. And I think you're actually able to take a minor. So you can major in user experience design, but if you take enough of like the same like electives in one subject, like psychology, you can minor in psychology as well. I was also taking some, like you mentioned, some music courses, and that's just a like a side thing that I'm interested in. But yeah, there's a bunch of different other electives. Like I think there's stuff for game design as well. So if you're interested in gaming, there's stuff for that as well. There's stuff for like indigenous studies, criminology, history, social work. Yeah, there's just so many different electives you can take. Science, even if you really wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's the advantage of studying at university in Canada, where you don't necessarily need to stick with your major all the time, where maybe 20 to 30% of your subjects can be electives. For me, I went to York University about 10 years ago, and my major was political science. But besides political science, I study subjects such as economics, natural science, social science, humanities. So it's quite a good experience to study at a university where you can pursue your major at the same time doing a minor and elective subjects as well. That's also one of the advantages of studying in Canada. Okay, so just let me wrap up a bit in Cantonese. 咁其實咧 Wilfrid Laurier International College 呢一個課程咧都係比較一個新啲嘅課程，係啦，咁可能 run 咗幾年啦，咁但係其實一路咧陸續都有學生咧係完成咗個 Stage 2嘅課程咧 progress 上去 Year 2噶啦，咁啊帶咗啲 credit 上去 Year 2啦，咁 Michelle 咧佢今日就 mention 過一個好unique 嘅 subject 啦，係啦 User Experience Design 呢個 program 啦，咁但係咧 Wilfrid Laurier International College 咧都有其他嘅 major， 包括咗佢哋好出名嘅 business 嘅 program 啦，係啦，或者係 social science 啦、art 啦、humanities 呢啲 subject 都有。咁所以如果咧大家想知多少少關於呢一個課程啊，咁咧都可以聯絡我哋啦，係啦，咁我哋都會咧幫協助翻你做申請嘅。嗱，咁我哋最尾咧都講一講嗰個 entry standard 啦，因為其實首先第一樣嘢就係香港咧有好多 last minute 嘅學生，係啦，可能去到6月、7月即係成績出咗啦，先決定去加拿大升學。咁到時嗰本 Laurier 咧，可能已經 pass 嗰個 deadline 咯。咁但係咧 Wilfrid Laurier International College 咧就有一個好處咧，佢就有唔同嘅 intake day 嘅，係啦。咁9月當然你可以做申請啦，佢都有1月或者 respectively 5月咁樣都有 intake day 嘅。咁所以咧，佢個 entry 咧係即係比較 flexible 啲啦，會根據翻你嗰個簽證嗰個時間啦，係啦。咁同埋 Michelle 都講過啦，佢哋而家都有一啲叫 hybrid learning 啦，係啦。咁即係如果你係因為疫情嘅問題或者簽證嘅問題去唔到加拿大，咁就可以讀住 online 讀住某一啲 subject。咁你等你嗰個 term 完咗啦，先再去加拿大 start face to face learning 都可以。咁所以咧，其實咧加拿大咧已經有即係好多大學開始 adapt 呢啲 international college 啦。咁如果你話 across the whole Canada 咧，而家暫時咧就有4間 university 咧係有similar 嘅 pathway。咁喺 Ontario 喺東岸嘅係啦，就有2間啦，係 Wilfrid Laurier，一間係 Charles 啦，跟住 Winnipeg 有 Manitoba 啦，咁喺西岸咧就有 Michelle 之前嗰間學校叫 Simon Fraser University 啦。咁其實咧，我哋Facebook 咧都一路會有唔同嘅 series。咁我哋今日就講完 Wilfrid Laurier 啦。咁如果咧學生咧對呢一個課程咧有興趣咧，歡迎咧聯絡我哋咧，就攞多少資訊。咁呢一個 Facebook Live 咧，我哋都會 record 咗擺落我哋 Facebook page 嗰度嘅。咁隨時咧學生咧想翻嚟想遊覽翻嗰個 video 咧，都可以隨時揾我哋。咁我哋下個禮拜咧會有另一個 presentation 咧，就係University of Manitoba。咁佢就係一間同 Wilfrid Laurier 有少少唔同。Wilfrid Laurier 就係比較一間 comprehensive 嘅大學啦。咁但係 Manitoba 咧就係比較一個 research focus 嘅大學。咁我哋可能下個禮拜嘅星期5我哋再見啦，好唔好啊？咁我哋今日咧都多謝晒 Michelle 啦，同埋 Thank you Evelyn for taking your time. It must be quite late in Brantford right now, but thank you very much for your time as well, Michelle. And
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you very much，大家多謝晒，拜拜。